Mr. Santosh Kavre sir is presently working as additional executive engineer at Maharashtra State Load Dispatch Center, MSETCL, Airoli, Navi Mumbai. He is having an industrial experience of more than 16 years. He had delivered many industrial lectures on HVDC and FACTS. He is also an active member of HVDC and FACTS R&D group in MSETCL. He had delivered various paper presentations at international and national conferences. He had been awarded the first prize for paper presentation in knowledge sharing scheme of MSETCL. Not only this, he had also done PG diploma in value education and spirituality. So he has achieved umpteen milestones, and it is our pleasure to have him with us today. So I request Mr. Kavre sir to guide us and share his knowledge with us.
Uh, Thanks for my introduction. Though I have completed 16 years and some MTech also I did in power system, still I am the learner of this field because we can say that our electrical system is so vast. So whatever knowledge, practical knowledge from the field I earn in these 16 years and whatever academic I have. So I will try to share that whatever best possible for me. So today we have presentation on practical implementation of FACTS to Indian power system. So before starting this session, I want to say something about FACTS technology. See, the concept of FACTS is not, we can say it's a more, means we are familiar with this. We know that from at the starting, we are using, that is a mechanical switching devices. Like we use capacitors in series or shunt for compensation. Also, we use reactors, series reactors, shunt reactors to manage, we can say, voltage profile, reactive power, and other parameters in the power system. So by introduction of power electronics in for these mechanically controlled devices, just they have added power electronic devices into this. And because of that use, like current source converters and voltage source converters, mostly we can say thyristors and IGBTs. So because of that, they have achieved the flexibility to control inductor and capacitors. Just this is the only idea in introduction of FACTS. And we know that if you see our basics of power system, we know that in series current is constant and we can control the voltage, and in shunt we can say that we have voltage constant and we can control the current. So these are the some fundamental aspects. By keeping in mind, they have designed such technologies, so which we are calling it as a flexible AC transmission system. Just whatever these capacitors, the inductors, these available devices we have, just we have made it flexible. We have changed its operating conditions to manage the power system parameters. So this is a just, we can say, brief about FACTS technology. So the flow of this presentation will be, we have just a minute. First, we'll see the constraints of AC transmission, then what are the power electronic devices we use for FACTS technology. Then we'll see basics of FACTS, advantages, and then we will go for application of FACTS in Indian power sector. And we'll see about modern trends also. So Mostly my concern for this presentation will be on application of facts in Indian power sector, because already you have studied in your academic all these things, but just we have overlook of it. So this is our electrical power system, where energy is generated at low voltages, then that is step up at higher voltages, again that step down and supply to the consumers. Especially we can say that this fax technology is mostly useful for the transmission as well as for distribution also, to improve the power quality. Then what are the constraints of the AC transmission? We know that when we transmit power over AC line, so if the distance increases, we know that after certain distance, the power handling capacity of the AC line gets reduced because of voltage and stability constraints. So we know that as the distance increases, there will be the drop because of the impedance of the line. Voltage drop will be there. Also, because of voltage mismatch, we can say, or out of range voltage, so stability constraints will also there. Also, we can say power angle related stability. So there are so many issues. So these are the constraints when we operate a power system with the AC. And we can load our line up to SIL, that is surge impedance loading. So surge impedance loading, just we can calculate it by, we know that every line has a certain voltage, that is line to line voltage. And if it is, we will take square of that and divide by surge impedance. So then you will get the surge impedance loading of the line. We can say that when the line is lossless, means reactive power supplied equal to reactive power absorbed. When it is equal, so in that condition, this is the actually surge impedance loading of the line. And also we know that every voltage level has certain limits of its operation. Like if you take the case of 400 kV, its a lower range voltage is 380 kV and upper range voltage is 420 kV. Within that, this band only, you can operate our power system, particularly 400 kV, smoothly. If it violates this limit, then there are the voltage stability issues. Then what is meant by thermal limit? Thermal limit means it is the loading of the line up to which we can load the line up to breaking of the, it's a highest rating of the line, we can say. Beyond that, the conductor of that line will break. So that is the highest power transmission by that conductor. Also, there are many more constants like steady state power transfer limit, then voltage stability limit, transient stability limit, inter-area oscillations. Again, we have reactive power issues, bulk power transfer over a longer distance, load flow control, subsynchronous oscillations, which are generated into the system because of the, we can say, capacitors present into the electrical system and the, we can say, into the generator side. So there is a frequency of that generator and the frequency of your electrical device when matches with each other, then there is a formation of subsynchronous resonance. But by using this particularly fax technology, we can overcome these subsynchronous oscillations. Then blackout risk due to cascading effects, that also can be overcome by the fax technology. Frequency can be controlled by controlling these devices. So these are the constraints of transmission of in the AC, but still we can overcome these constraints by fax technology. So these are some voltage bands are given for different kV levels. Now, how we can control these voltages within these bands? We have to strictly follow these bands. Otherwise, there will be the voltage collapse. Maintain power angle also. That is that power angle of sending end and receiving end. The difference of that angle should be less than 30 degree. So that angle we have to also maintain. Otherwise, if we operate the system beyond that limit, so it will go out of synchronism and there will be the cascade tripping and complete blackout of the power system. So these are some power stabilities like steady state. When the system is in normal power, running in normal power condition, so that is maintained. That is a steady state stability. Then transient stability. Suppose there is a transient nature of fault on the line. If suppose any branch is coming in the vicinity of the that power line for some period, and again it goes out because of the wind flow. So in that case, during that case, there will be the uh, transient fault on the that line. So in that case also, system should remain stable. Again, there is a dynamic stability. If the system is still going, if there is a major fault and still system is going beyond the limits, still system try to recover to its normal condition. So this is a dynamic stability. And we have the frequency band that is recently defined. It is 49.5 to 50.05. Strictly we have to follow this frequency range. Otherwise that particularly that utility will be penalized if they violate this frequency band. So the role of these our that is a regulators, or we can say system dispatch people, to maintain this balance between generation and load so that overall stability of the power system can be maintained. Now these are the power electronic devices which we use for particularly fax technology, as well as similar kind of these devices are used in HVDC technology also. So particularly at the starting we were using thyristors, and later on now third generation fax devices we are using IGBTs. The specialty of thyristor is that especially it is a current source converter and having a capacity of bulk power transmission. It operates in the range of 50 to 60 hertz. GTOs are gate turned off thyristors which operate less than 500 hertz. Then IGBTs or IGCTs, actually these are the insulated gate bipolar transistor which operate beyond the frequency of 1000 hertz. Just you can compare 1000 hertz, more than 1000 hertz. If you are operating any device into the power system, it means that you are controlling the parameters of the power system in like a real time. It will be the like a real time operation. So that's why these nowadays these IGBTs are very popular for fax as well as HVDC technology. By using these devices, we control active power, voltage, and reactive power of the system. We know that the power equation of the AC transmission, it is sending end voltage into receiving voltage divided by X. So generally X, it is actually impedance, but line resistance is generally neglected, can be neglected. So we consider reactive component and sine alpha 1 minus alpha 2. Alpha 1 is the angle related with this voltage particularly at the sending end, and this is alpha 2 at the receiving end. So this should be less than 30 degree to maintain the transient stability. So we can say that the varying parameters we have to vary the power in the AC system. We have sending end voltage, we have receiving end voltage, we have X, and we have delta. So in FACS technology, what we did here, we might, by using some FACS devices, we use to vary these voltages, or we use to vary this X or delta, like this. In this way, we control the parameters of the power system. Now, FACS, what is the definition of FACS as per IEEE? So it is an alternating current transmission system incorporating power electronic based and other static controllers to enhance controllability and increase power transfer capability. Means we have already existing system, so that we can increase its capacity, its power handling capacity we can increase by using the FACS technology. Okay, so this is a one FACS devices here shown, one of the layout of these devices. These are actually, we can say that these are the inductors here used. These are capacitor banks, and some equipments are here also used, filters, then transformers to connect with the power system, cooling system, then IGBT modules are inside this actually wall, that particularly we can say that in that particularly enclosed room is there, so walls are there. So this is a general structure of any FACS substation. So these are our basic equations of the power system that we already seen. So as per this, the FACS technologies or devices can be decided. If I want to vary X reactance of the line, then I have to use thyristor control series capacitor. Then if I want to control sending and receiving end voltages as well as X, then I have to go for UPFC, Unified Power Flow Controller, as well as I can control angle also, delta, power angle also. So it is, we can say it's a universal device which can control any parameter of the power system. Particularly TCSC controls AX. Then SVC, that is a static var compensator, or we can say thyristor control voltage regulator. So this can control our sending end and receiving end voltages. And especially to control this power angle, we use TCPST, that is thyristor control phase shifting transformers. So these are the, we can say, by controlling these parameters, we are actually handling, or this power handling capacity of our power system we actually increased by adjusting these parameters by using the different FACS technologies. So same thing is shown here also, that is how we enhance the power handling capacity, or we can control the power angle. So we know that at 90 degree we have maximum power output we get, but we never operate this system on 90 degree, because we know that there are the chances of losing synchronism beyond this. So safer range is mostly, we can say, less than 30 degree. And this is a control system. We have to take parameters from this power line, we have to measure, and we have to feed to our control system, so that we can adjust the output of these FACS devices, and accordingly these particularly these power system parameters can be adjusted. So the brief history of FACS technology, it is developed by Dr. Narenji Hingorani. He is actually Indian person, and after completion his graduation, he joined Bombay Electricity Board. This fact is not known to many people. He has, now it is known as BEST, Bombay Electricity and State Transport, but previously it was Bombay Electricity Board. So 2 years he worked there, and later on he moved to England to complete his MSc. And then he got connected with EPRI, that is Electric Power Research Institute at USA, and he has developed in 88 the fax technology. But this is the unknown fact to us that he was actually engineer with Bombay Electricity Board for 2 years. Then this first project they have implemented at CJ Slot substation in US. This is a Google Map view of it, and this is the EPRI. He did his research. The first device was actually, it is a 500 kV voltage, for the 500 kV voltage, 3-phase 60 hertz. So they have used first fax device here, and we can say it's a test model for checking the exact functionality or the practical application of this device. So they have tested here. Again, same thing is shown here. That is how by controlling the parameters we can control the power of the power system. There are so many advantages of the fax devices or technology. Like we can increase the power handling capacity. We can reduce the transmission cost. Suppose I want to transmit suppose 1500 megawatt power with the 400 kV double circuit lines. So I want near about 3 double circuit lines, each will carrying 250 megawatt power. But when I am going to implement fax device on that 400 kV line, only 2 lines will be sufficient to transmit 1500 megawatt power. Means 750 megawatt. Again, we can divide into double circuit that power. So we can say that transmission cost can be minimized. Even the losses during transmission, that also can be minimized. Also, stability, steady states, transient dynamic stabilities can be improved. Active damping, we know that there is a abnormality in power system because of the tripping up heavily loaded lines or transformers or generators. So because of that, there is a generation of oscillations, power oscillations, all of a sudden loss of power. And because of, by using the fax devices, we can minimize those oscillations by controlling the parameters of the power system. Even the reliability of the power system can be enhanced. We can rely on the system because of stabilities of the fax devices. We can rely on the system. Then we have flexibility in setting the new generation. So like that, there are so many advantages for this. We can overload the lines up to its thermal limits. That is also one of the benefit. We can use these HVDC along with fax and HVDC together also. So that is also give some many benefits to us. And in deregulated market power system, we know that today we require power quality and we have to maintain strict grid codes. If you violate the grid codes, then you have to, there is a heavy penalty to that utility. So that penalty never can be bearable to any utility. So it is better to implement such devices, so that will make our power system strong. Then we can connect renewable energy sources, distributed generation and storage with this along with fax devices. So these are the some developments in the generations of the fax devices. We have first generation, I already talked about it, that is capacitors and inductors. We have, these are mechanical switch devices. Just you can use here, maybe if it is at low voltage, in just you can go for these isolators, but if it is at a EHV level, then you have to use breakers for this. So these are, we can slow wires. But second generation is thyristor switch. By using the thyristor, that is current source converter, this is the second generation of the fax devices. And as compared to these wires, that is mechanical switch devices, it is the fast technology. Now third generation is the fastest technology, which is now very popular for these fax, that is DSC particularly. especially we use IGBTs here. So this we can operate beyond 1000 hertz, means I can operate these IGBTs in the range of 2000 to 3000 hertz also. So in this way I can finally tune my parameters of the power system. So that's a great advantage, like a real-time operation of the power system. So this is a application of fax along with HVDC. We can use back-to-back point-to-point transmission along with the fax devices. Fax may be your series and shunt connected. So this, or you can go for single device also, there is no issue. But by using this parallel combination of these HVDC converters and fax, you are making your power system more stable. So that is the advantage. Similarly, we can use voltage source converter based HVDC, current source converter based HVDC, and fax technology all together, so as to achieve so many benefits to the power system. Then we have these different combination of devices. We have series, that is a fixed series compensator, thyristor, control series capacitor, series shunt device, we have UPFC, shunt we have SVC, STATCOM, and series we have IPFC, interline power flow controller, like this. So we have these different devices. If we divide or classify these devices, so just you will get the classification here, so I will not go through it. So if we again divide into thyristor control base, then TCSC SVC came into thyristor base, and that is IGBT based or voltage source converter base. Triple SC, STATCOM, UPFC and IPFC comes under VSC category. So this is all about types of controllers. Same thing is shown here. You can later on go through it. Just I want to add one point here. You can use HVDC back to back or VSC or conventional HVDC, that is thyristor based back to back HVDC. These are actually acting as a fax devices. So if you take the case of STATCOM, if you connect STATCOM at one end and there is another end and there is a line, so then that STATCOM will now act as a back-to-back HVDC. VSC back-to-back HVDC, it will like that. So it means that this back-to-back HVDC also acting as a fax controller. Just I want to conclude from this chart that one thing I can notice here, I know that if I use the fax devices which operate or which can control which are connected in shunt, they are actually controlling the Q parameter, that is the reactive power. When I use series connected fax devices, then actually I am controlling the active power of the power system. So just this is a brief idea. If I want which parameter of the power system I have to control, accordingly I can go to implement the fax device which I have to use in the power system. If I want to control reactive power, then I will go for shunt devices. If I want to control active power, then I will go for the series connected devices. And if I want both, then I will go for both combination of series shunt, or we can say series also, like this. So this is just one important chart to remember the categories and their application to control the parameters. Now we'll see about series compensation. We know that in series, generally current is, we can say current is constant, but you can vary the voltage. You can add the voltage into this line, so that actually ultimately you are improving the voltage profile of that line. So we can say that by variable impedance such as capacitor, reactor, that is based power electronic particularly, that is controlled by power electronic devices, we can control or overcome the subsynchronous harmonic frequencies by using the series compensation. We can inject voltage into the series so the voltage profile of the system can be maintained. So these are some of the facts, and some of the devices are given here, which are a fact, we can say, series compensators. So these are the devices which are used, like here it is a triple SC. Then we have triple SC with the storage. Here you can use storage to store the power, and whenever there is a demand into the power system, we can fit this storage to the our system. Then we have here TCSC, thyristor control series capacitor. Then we have thyristor control series reactor here. So these are the some of the series connected devices. So we can go for the fixed series capacitor. The cost of such technology is less, but there are some limitations with this technology, fixed series capacitors. Just you can connect capacitor in series, and you can apply the circuit breakers for its opening, or taking that system out, and some rest of the system to manage when we know that capacitor store the high reactive power, so charging current is high into that. So because of that, if I open the breaker, then there is a release of high energy, stored energy, and to damp out those or those or absorb that energy into the reactors, we want such arrangement. And the circuit breakers are also used to disconnect, to work on these systems during maintenance period. So we can say it's a simplest compensation. It increases power transfer capability of the power system. It reduces transmission angle. So there are so many benefits. But these are certain limitations also. It cannot overcome these particularly power oscillations. So POD cannot be controlled by this fixed series capacitor. So for that, to overcome this and to get better stability, we go for the next technology, that is a thyristor controlled series capacitor technology, where thyristor is in series and it is controlled by, here capacitor is in series and it is controlled by this thyristor bank. So we can say that TCSC is a capacitive reactance compensator. Here we have already seen this. So we'll see key benefits of this. It is usable for load flow control. Then power oscillation damping, POD is possible. Means whatever oscillation generated into the power system, so that will be controlled or minimized by this, by using this TCSC. Then we get better protection to the because of these power electronics switches. We get better protection, because when there is a fault on this capacitor bank, so huge current will flow, and that abnormal condition will be sensed by the control system of these power electronics devices, and it will stop the firing pulses, and in this way it will cut off this capacitor from the circuit. So in this way we can say that automatically we get protection to the capacitors. So that is the another benefit of this thyristor control series capacitor. So these we can say a damping SSR, subsynchronous resonance, can also be damped out by the thyristor control series capacitors, but it is not possible with the fixed series capacitor. So that's why we can achieve the stability by using the thyristor control switch series capacitors. So how we have started these fax devices using Indian grid? We know that we generally not adopt any technology because of its advantages, but we adopt the things when there is a certain critical issues created into our power system. So in fact, by this use of this fax technology, we have started after the major blackout of 30th and 31 July 2012. So there was a major blackout in that this northern region. northeast and eastern region were into major blackout for these 2 days because of overall of certain states like Uttar Pradesh and Haryana, Punjab, like that states. So because of that, there was a major blackout, and later on, we as a power system operators and all the experts in this power system industry, they have started thinking of how to overcome these issues in future. So we are already HVDC networks in our power system. There are so many projects. So after this 2012 July, we have started thinking to adopt new technology, that is a fax technology in in Indian power sector. So then different studies and carried out meetings, discussions, and so many things were carried out by Ministry of Power. Later on, that work is assigned to the power grid. That is a power. It's a Indian, we can say, Indian power transmission utility, which take care of our whole grid, like 400 kV, 765 kV, HVDCs. All this grid is taken care by power grid, particularly to maintain this system. And overall, that is a control that is of we can say that is a load dispatch. So that is another part. So PGCIL has started implementing, means PGCIL along with these private companies. So they have started implementing this fax technology in our power system. So what we planned, first we have focused on the western region of our country. So here we have started implementing certain projects where we can achieve by this dynamic compensation by using STATCOM technology. So we thought about to implement STATCOM technology, that is a shunt compensation. So why we thought of this STATCOM? Because of so many advantages of STATCOM. So we know that it's a it has a smaller installation space requirement. It's available in modular form. Very compact system is there. This particularly voltage source converter based technology, it is in compact form. It takes very less size, as well as its controllability is high. It can operate beyond the 1000 Hz frequency. So there are so many advantages of this. So that's why, along with this STATCOM, they have started implementing these reactors and capacitors, like a mechanically switched devices, along with fax devices. Means we can say it's a hybrid technology we have started implementing. So PGCIL has chosen certain stations in western region like Satna, Aurangabad. So like this, some sites were chosen and started implementing the projects of the STATCOM. Now how it was the basic structure of this STATCOM technology. So we have 400 kV bus. So to that 400 kV bus, we have one transformer just to connect these STATCOM devices and these mechanically switched devices. We have to actually connect at the certain low voltage level, or we can say medium voltage level, like 38.5 kV, like that. So their step down transformers are used, circuit breaker is used for the protection, as well as here we use STATCOMs like two structures, 2 into plus minus 150 kV. Means its output can be varied in plus 150, it can supply plus 150, or it can absorb 1 plus minus 150. So like that, means plus minus 150 band reactive power can be adjusted by using these two STATCOMs. Then we have mechanically switched capacitors, mechanically switched inductors. So this was a generalized structure adopted at every location in the western region. Also, along with these, some auxiliary equipments like this step down transformers, circuit breakers. Here also we use circuit breakers, buses, like that. So these are the auxiliary components of this. So Again, we have, that is Power Grid has chosen certain sites and they have started implementing these projects like TCSC with fixed series compensation at 400 kV transmission line between Kanpur, UP and Ballabgarh at Haryana in the northern grid. They have also started using in northern grid also. Some more facts project which are actually like Ranchi Sipat 400 kV double circuit line having a length of 3760 kilometer, having 40% fixed series capacitance like this at the Ranchi end. Again, Raipur, Rourkela, that is 400 kV double circuit 412 kilometer transmission line having a fixed series capacitor and TCSC installed at Raipur end. Again, there is a FSC and TCSC at Kalpakkam and Khammam 400 kV double circuit 364 kilometer transmission line in Andhra Pradesh. But the conceptual structure of this Transcom station was like this. So this is a technical data of this 400 kV Kanpur Ballabgarh thyristor control switch capacitor device. It is the India's first series compensation project which was put in operation by Power Grid Corporation of India Limited, that is PGCIL or Power Grid, on 400 kV, 400 kilometer long single circuit Kanpur Ballabgarh transmission line. And these are some of the parameters. This is a Kanpur end and this is Ballabgarh end. And this is a output of that, how this the means whatever the spikes or any oscillations come, how that can be overcome. So that is here shown. Its characteristic is shown here. And these are the some of the technical details of this, like here 400 kV line. Its length is 400 around 400 kilometer, having a resistance of 131.19 ohm. Then compensation degree by fixed series capacitor 27% compensated, by TCSC it is compensated by 8 to 20%. Then again that FSC resistance is given, capacitance is given, TCSC resistance, capacitance which are connected, and also the reactance connected in that circuit, the values of that also given. Then boost factor and this Vernier capacity mode limit. So these are also given. So this is all about this Kanpur Ballabgarh thyristor control series capacitor fax device. Now this is India's second project to export surplus power of 9,000 megawatt from the eastern, that is a Rourkela region, eastern region we know that, which is near to northeast, so that is the eastern region, to the western region, and now we Maharashtra in western region. So Raipur is also in western region, in Chhattisgarh. So this is this particular TCSC used for this line to export inter-regional power. So that is also one of the major advantage of fax device, to transmit inter-regional power. So we know that if any region has excess power, particularly one regional grid, so that excess power can be taken in the other. So with the stable operation by using the fax devices. Also during contingency period also, this TCSC is used. So this is a Rourkela and here Raipur is shown. So these are the, this is the actually TCSC shown on this line. It's a double circuit line having a 400 kV. Again, line resistance is given, length is given, how compensation degrees are given, so that is also given. FSC, TCSC and all these parameters are given for this Rourkela Raipur line TCSC thyristor control series capacitor. Again, some of the facts about this Rourkela, that is Raipur line TCSC. So it is a 3-phase 400 kV 412 kilometer double circuit transmission system between Raipur and Rourkela to transfer surplus power from eastern grid to western grid, and also it gives backup support for eastern region to southern region in case of emergency. If there is a contingencies, emergency come, so this again it supports for the power flow from the eastern to southern region, and it actually helps. Along with this, we know that there is a it is a Talcher Kolar link. Talcher is in eastern part of India, and Kolar is in the western part of India. Kolar is near to Bangalore. So this actually fax device particularly operate along with this HVDC. So it is the example how HVDC and fax can be work together to get so many benefits in the power system. So this is very strategic location of implementation of fax device in our Indian grid. So Raipur Rourkela is the important link connecting eastern region to the southern region. And we know that southern region from the starting itself, it is a power deficient region. So that's why there is a Talcher Kolar link, and that is giving power in that southern region, as well as now 765 kV line like Raipur Solapur. So that is also Raichur Solapur. That line also came into in the southern region, and this fax device also benefiting this southern region indirectly to maintain the system in contingency. So after implementation of this FCTCSC, some faults, whatever came on that system, so that actually damped out by this TCSC, and they have practically tested the benefit of this TCSC, how it helps to maintain the power system. And we also observed one thing from this our Indian grid, that after implementation of this so many HVDCs and FACTs, actually our grid become now very stable. We have observed into the system that there are so many times many major substation completely got tripped, but still that region and many regions were still get connected. So that's why we can say that by application of HVDC and FACTs, our actually Indian grids become now very much stable. So this is another application of TCSC on Gorakhpur Purnia line. So here it's a world's biggest fax project. So this is actually world's biggest fax project in the world, we can say. So what is the specialty of this project? If you see the rating of this particularly MVR rating of FSC and TCSC, it is so high. So that's why it is the world's biggest fax project, and it is providing having TCSC and FSC on the Purnia and Gorakhpur. The rating of this this TCSC is 1.7 gigavar. So that is, we can say it's the highest rating in the world. That's why it is the biggest fax device in the world. And its power transfer inter-regional grid from 9,500 megawatt to 30,000 megawatt by 2012. Means by using such a gigantic 1.7 gigawatts, this thyristor control switch capacitor, actually we are able to transmit this bulk power from regional grids, that is from 9,500 megawatt to 30,000 megawatt with the stable operation. And these are some of the parameters of the Gorakhpur Purnia line. That is a 420 kV maximum voltage. This is a line length, Then compensation degrees are here given, FSC and TCSC. Here, if the value of FSC, how much MVR FSC at Gorakhpur, Purnia, and TCSC value of MVR, that is also given. And boost factor is given 1:3. So now Kalpakkam and Khammam TCSC project. So these are this is the technical data of this project, where 30% FSC and 20 to 20% that is a TCSC compensation degrees are used. So these are actually values of capacitance, and here inductance and capacitance values are given. So this is a three-phase 400 kV 364 kilometer long transmission system between Kalpakkam and Khammam in Andhra Pradesh. This transmission line takes 50% series compensation, out of which 30% is provided for fixed compensation. That is, FSC is given 30% and rest 20% is given by TCSC. So this system shows more improved and controlled operation after installation of FCTCS. After analyzing all these waveform and this data, whatever in their system, they came to they realized that by using this device, actually they have achieved so many benefits by this, particularly stability point of view. And here, system is designed for line without compensation, then a line with fixed series compensation, and line with fixed capacitance and TCSC. Means this device, whatever TCSC they have designed or implemented for this project, it can operate in 3 modes actually. So without compensation, it can act fixed series compensation, or another option, it has this fixed capacitance and TCS like this. So these are some of the TCSCs across the world. So out of that, India is having here at Kanpur and Ballabgarh. Here it is shown. Then Rourkela, Raipur, we are here actually. So these are our projects of TCSC in the world. And again, this Purnia, Gorakhpur is also mentioned. And others are actually from other countries. Now, shunt compensation. Up till now, we have seen these are series, all about series compensation. And now, shunt compensation. So, it could be variable impedance like capacitor, reactors, and along with power electronic devices. But for this, we can say power electronic devices, we can use like a thyristor controller, this voltage source converter, that is IGBT control. Then it can inject current in the system. We know that in shunt, voltage is constant. In shunt or parallel, voltage is constant. So the variable parameter we have, it is current. So it inject current into the system. It can inject or can absorb also. In this way, we can able to manage voltage profile of the power system. If voltage is more, then it can absorb this whatever excessive reactive power, reactive current is there, that can be absorbed into this particularly compensator, inductor particularly, and it can also supply the current to the system, so that reactive power can be maintained and voltage profile ultimately can be maintained. So if this current in phase quadrature with voltage, controller supplies or consume reactive power. The condition for absorption or supply of the reactive power is that voltage and current it should be in phase quadrature. Phase quadrature means 90-degree phase shift should be there. Then and then it can supply or absorb the reactive power in the system. Any other phase involves control of both active and reactive power. So by controlling the phase, we can actually control active and reactive power. So that is a specialty of particularly voltage source converter. You can control active and reactive power independently also and at the same time. So that is the specialty of the voltage source converter. So these are some of these shunt connected devices, like we have this thyristor control reactor, TSR, TCR, TSC, MSC, or STATCOM, like this. So we have different types of shunt connected devices. So it might be inductive shunt compensation, or it may be capacitive shunt compensation. And we know that in case of inductive shunt compensation, when we use inductive shunt compensation, when receiving end voltage is more than sending end voltage, and that is known as Ferranti effect. So to compensate that to reduce that receiving voltage, we have to add inductors, so that in the series or shunt we can say, so that voltage can be balanced. And even sometimes series inductors are also used if there is a issue of excess over voltage of the this particular power line. And this fact is observed especially for the longest lines. And for the capacitive shunt compensation, when receiving end voltage is less than sending end voltage, then we go for the capacitive shunt compensation. So these are some of the shunt compensators we used in the power system. Like we have very popular, that is a STATCOM. STATCOM maybe with energy storage, like that. So there are so many some combinations are possible of the STATCOM. So here current source converters they have used. Second, they have used with the batteries energy storage system, that is a base. So that also can be used along with the STATCOM, so as to store some electrical energy. Another, these are some of the these different types of shunt compensators. So same thing is shown here: mechanical switch reactors, TCR thyristor control reactors. Sometimes we use specially harmonic filters. So actually the filters of HVDC are actually playing the role of this particularly reactive power management. So that is also benefit. So harmonic filters can be used for the reactive power management. Then mechanical switch capacitors we have. So these are some shunt connected devices. So these are a static VAR compensator, that is SVCs, which we use in our grid. So at Kanpur 400 kV substation, we have 2 into plus minus 140 MVAR, this static VAR compensator. Then we have second is at Kankroli, which is 400 kV. It is a plus 400 MVAR minus 300 MVAR. So these are this can be operated, means supply and absorb. So that is possible. That is a upper and lower limit is given. New 1 power 400 kV bus. Again, there is a static VAR compensator. Ludhiana 400 kV bus. There is a plus 600 MVAR minus 400 MVAR. This static VAR compensator is there. The key, there are some when we connect any static VAR compensator, so we have to actually use some devices or particularly equipments like a LV bus, step down transformer. To connect with the point of common coupling, that is PCC, we have to use this step down transformers. Then control system we have to use to control the firing angle of these thyristors or IGBTs, so that we can control the output of these devices. Then we use TCR, TSC and FC, like this. So this is all about static VAR compensator. It stabilizes the system. It gives control dynamic reactive power. It improves transient stability in the power system. Also, it damp out active power oscillations. That is also one of the benefit because we are using the power electronic devices. So because of that, the system becomes flexible. Then we use increased power transfer capability, power handling capacity by giving the compensation in this range like plus or minus something like that. We actually give this we because of that compensation actually power handling capacity gets increased, and typical response time ranging from 30 to 40 millisecond. So within this 30 to 40 millisecond, it comes to its function. Whenever suppose there is a fault and some emergency situation came into the power system, some contingency come. So during that case, this response time of this static power compensator actually it is a 30 to 40 millisecond. So between that, it will try to try to stabilize that whatever there is a fault on the system, that it will try to stabilize that system. So that is the typical response time of the static work compensators. Then we have, this is a STATCOM. This is a very advanced fax controller nowadays, very popular. There are two types of STATCOMs. One we can use for the transmission, so that is known as T-STATCOM. And when we use for distribution side, it is a D-STATCOM. And it is very popular device because it contains actually these particularly IGBT modules. And we know that IGBTs are voltage source converters that can be operate beyond 1000 hertz, 2000 to 3000 hertz frequency. And because of that, it is possible to tune the parameters. Fine tuning is possible with all the power system parameters because of such highest firing range of these IGBTs. Even we can say that these are the IGBTs are actually force commutated devices. These thyristors have a limitation. They can made it on, but they cannot be turned off manually. That will be turned off when that waveform will come to zero or low voltage will be maintained. But here you can make its force on and off, and that's why this nowadays this becoming very popular, particularly the IGBT devices which we are using in the power system, whether it is HVDC or FACTS. So because of this technology, particularly voltage source converter, now we are getting so many benefits, not only for the power system, but these all the renewable energy sources, which are actually we are connecting like intermittent sources like wind, solar, and another this non-renewable that is a renewable energy sources particularly. When we have to integrate into the power system, then we go for the power electronic devices, which is based on the these particularly voltage source converters. So there are so many benefits of this, and that's why in India we have mostly adopted STATCOM at various locations in the grid. The key benefits of the STATCOM: it can increase the transmission line capability. So it is a shunt compensation. So actually it gives a reactive power compensation to this system, and because of that actually we can enhance the power handling capacity of the existing line. Then steady state voltage regulation. How steady state voltage can be regulated? We know that in power system there is no perfectly balance of particularly load and the generation. Somewhere there might be generations going low or high. Generally the system operators or generators, they are maintaining this generation profile, but load is all of a sudden sometimes get cut off from the system, and because of that there is a we can say continuously some small small signals or small oscillations or small disturbances are always exist into the power system. Not fully our power system is always 100% stable. There are small variations are there. So that's those small variations also taken care by the fax controller, because by using this particularly feedback system, we these continuously monitor those parameters of the what the running on the power line. So those signals is given to the statcom controller, and according to that, that will given to the firing control circuit of the statcom, and based on that, the parameters of the this will be adjusted statcom, and according to that input will inject, or that also some current can be absorbed. So in this way we can say that by taking the feedback from the existing system, we are actually controlling the we are controlling, or we are making the system stable in steady state operation also. That is steady state regulation we maintain with the this statcom. Then dynamic voltage support to prevent system collapse. Suppose there is a fault on the this line, and because of that, this our particularly this there is a collapse of. We know that whenever there is a fault, so there is a suddenly drop in the voltage and rise in the fault current. Means excessive current will be taken from the line, and there will be the voltage drop. And because of these things, actually there is an imbalance into the power system, and in this condition also, this condition will be sensed by these sensors, we can say instrument transformers. With the help of those instrument transformers, we get the signals, and according to that, these particularly these controllers will take action, and it will produce the output like that. It will try to balance the system, though it is a dynamic collapse of the system, and power oscillations will be damped out by this using this statcom system. So it is there are so many benefits of this statcom, and one speciality of the statcom system, if you connect one statcom at one end and at other end you have another statcom, if you connect with this one DC line, then it will form actually particularly VSC HVDC, back-to-back HVDC or VSC HVDC we can say. So that is also another benefits of the system. So these are the some of the, we can say, shunt, particularly shunt and series connected, that is hybrid controllers. Like you can go for the series controllers, plus you can use shunt controllers, and jointly you can control with this particularly power electronic devices. So such type of regulators or controllers we used in the power system. Statcom and SSC we can use in combination. So these are some of the combined shunt and series compensators we use in the power system. These are other controllers like a thyristor control voltage limiter, TCVL, TCVR, TCVR, like that. So there are certain combinations of other controllers is also possible. Now SVC and statcom. When we talk about SVC, we already seen that there is a static VAR compensator. There are some projects in India which is based on statcom, particularly static VAR compensator, and some projects are based on statcom. So static VAR compensators, actually, if you see, these compensators are actually, these can generate large amounts of reactive power, and they uses fixed or switch capacitors. There will be the fixed or switch capacitors. Then this uses the power electronics devices like thyristors to vary reactive power. So this is all about the static VAR compensators. Then we have statcom. So this is all about static SVC, and now this is a statcom. So the fundamental difference, if we see here, thyristors are used for the controller, but here IGBTs are used for the control. for the particularly STATCOM. So it can generate large amounts of reactive power by STATCOMs. It uses power electronics IGBT devices and artificial voltage source behind a reactor. So that is the advantage of this system. It creates a artificial voltage source. If you see the diagram, in previous diagram, there is a voltage source connected to the STATCOM at one side. So it will act as a artificial voltage source, and it will just conventional generator without rotating parts. And if we use actually when we use these STATCOMs when jointly, actually they are a combination. If we use it, if it is a single, particularly single compensator, so it has a two quadrant operation. But when there are two such STATCOMs are used back to back, so then that actually four quadrant operation is possible. Means you have, there are so many degrees of freedom we have. In 360 degrees, we have actually, we can control the active and reactive power of the power system. If you put on x-axis, there is a suppose active power, and on the y-axis, if you put reactive power, then in 360 degrees, you can adjust active and reactive power. For particularly this active power, suppose I want positive active power, means that is the export of the active power. If that means positive, then I can maintain positive reactive power, negative reactive power, or zero reactive power. So that is the benefit of this STATCOM. Also similarly with for the export also, even that is true for, even you can keep zero active power and you can vary reactive power in plus, minus, and even zero. So that is the so many degrees of freedom by using such type of devices like a particularly IGBTs. So that's why here it is saying that we use some rotating machines for the particularly compensation in power system. But the STATCOMs are static, but still it gives the effect of that particularly what we will get by the rotating machines like this. So it's the most important device, or particularly fax device in the power system, which is we used. So when we compare static var compensator and STATCOM, so naturally STATCOM is a compact technology. It's a modular form because size of the IGBT is less, and the disadvantage with IGBT is only that its rating is less, but that is overcome by the that is a MMC technology, modular multi-level converters. You can use in that fashion, you can increase the power rating of these IGBTs. Thyristor is having a more size, and also the station size is also more when we use static var compensators. So station size will increase, whereas when we use STATCOM, station size will reduce because these controllers are particularly very compact form, modular form these controllers are, and less devices are also required. Even filter requirement, so that is also less because already these are operating in frequency beyond 2000 hertz. So naturally what will happen, if you use any device beyond 1000 hertz, actually you are shifting the these harmonics on the higher side, and we know that higher side harmonics are not that much harmful for the power system. We generally try to remove those harmonics also, but still higher order harmonics are that much not harmful for the power system. So there are so many benefits with the STATCOM. We can save the space, and this much land cost also we can save. So that is the advantage with STATCOM. If you see here structure of this static var compensator, how much area it took, and here if you see it is very less area it took. So it's a compact modular form. And nowadays, even for this particularly voltage source converter modular form technology, people are using particularly offshore wind farms, which are installed in the sea. So there they construct these particularly rectifier stations to collect the power from the windmills. So that's why there are so many benefits of this compact nature. Then this is the particularly steady state reactive capability curve of this STATCOM, static var compensator, SVC, TCR, TSC. So this in STATCOM, we can say that particularly inductive current as well as capacitive current is also possible, and we can maintain the voltage profile by injecting or absorbing the by injecting or absorbing reactive power into the system. We can actually control this voltage, or we can maintain the voltage profile of the system. So TSC has this characteristic, TCR like this characteristics. So static var compensator has certain components like here, if I want to connect any static var compensator, there should be thyristor control devices. These are actually. So here transformer is required to connect with particularly EHV level. So step down transformer is required. Then we have thyristor switched capacitor. These are the thyristor switch capacitor. These are operated by the thyristor modules. Then here it is a particularly fixed capacitor or fixed filter also we can say. Then we have thyristor control reactor, TCR. This is TCR, thyristor control reactor. So like this, and this is a fixed capacitor. No variable here. We can say these thyristor modules are connected to it. It's a fixed capacitor, or it can be act as a this filter also. So these are the components. This is a controller which is used for this particularly to connect this static var compensator with the power system. We know that we connect with this is our step down transformer which connect this particularly our SVC, and then firing there is a again references voltages are also given, some maximum voltage, reference voltage, whatever error is coming from the system, maximum reactive power as an input, then under or over voltage, that limits are also set into this controller. So in this way, by using this certain particularly just some controllers, we finally generate the logic, firing logic, and according to that, the parameters of these SVCs are varied, and according to that, it will inject or absorb into the system, and in this way, we will maintain our system. So this is all about SVC controller. In STATCOM, if you see, STATCOM is a best facts component to stabilize the system voltage. And if you see the nature of STATCOM, it's actually like acting as a adjustable capacitor. So adjustable capacitor means most of time it is actually injecting the current into the system. We know the nature of capacitor, that is it inject the reactive power or current into the system. Similarly, this STATCOM is continuously inject the current, so that what will happen, because of that there will be the improvement. There will be the improvement. This is the, we can say, voltage if we inject, so there will be the improvement in the voltage, particularly if we inject the current through the STATCOM. Then again about STATCOM, if you see, it is a VAR control and voltage stabilization. It has an inbuilt feature of VAR, that is we have already seen, plus voltage stabilization. It has. It is a fast VAR control in critical network contingent see phase ground fault, phase to phase short circuit. Means for any fault, it can take the action. And about negative sequence, unbalanced compensation. So during such fault also, that also taken care by the STATCOM. Active harmonic filtering, so that is also possible with the STATCOM, because STATCOM can generate high switching frequencies, and by injecting high frequency swing frequencies into the system, actually you can neutralize or you can cancel out the harmonics present into the system. So that is also one of the benefit of the STATCOM. So it acts as an active DC filter, we can say like this. Power oscillation damping, whatever oscillations came into the power system, that also can be damped out. And within very short response, its response time is very less, like in 1 to 5 milliseconds only. It will take quick action because of the controllers. Its controllers are actually voltage source based. So we know that injecting or absorbing reactive power in the fast way within the response time of just 1 to 5 milliseconds, and it enhances power flow control and stability in the system as compared to the SVC, static var compensator, because its response time is more than 10 milliseconds, and it only completes this STATCOM completes its operation within 1 to 5 millisecond. It is nothing actually, it's like a real-time operation, we can say that. So this is all about STATCOM. STATCOM also similarly we can connect with power system, like we have this EHV level, then step down transformer, or we can call it as a coupling transformer also. And this is a bus where you connect this particularly voltage source converter through the reactor, and here this is a capacitor bank which is connected on the DC side. So, and here multi-level converters. If I want to enhance the rating of the VSC, then I have to use multi-level converters so as to achieve particular rating. So it might be 2 or 3 level converters we used to achieve particular that rating. So this is the STATCOM components. So this is a layout of STATCOM at Satna station at Madhya Pradesh. So here, this is the, we can say that these are transformers or connected here, that particularly inside this cubicle. So there are the particularly these IGBT modules are there, and there are some capacitors, inductors are connected, capacitor banks are connected. So such layout is there at the Satna substation. So these are the photographs from the Satna substation, how that looks when they have implemented this particularly STATCOM there. So this is the STATCOM, how it is connected at Satna. So we know that there are IGBT modules they have used. When we connect series, in series combination as well as a shunt combination of the devices, or particularly IGBT modules, IGBTs, so then it forms the modules. And when I arrange these modules either in star or delta, it forms the modular that form actually. So here in Satna, it is this actually IGBT walls are connected in a delta fashion. R, Y, and B, like this, means they have connected like this. So this is a transformer which is connected with the grid, and at low voltage side we have connected these IGBT modules, and this is that cubicle where series and shunt connected structures are shown here. Now, if we use a STATCOM, so we can vary this particularly, we can improve the voltage profile by adjusting this value of IC So if it is in phase, we can say it can be lagging or leading to the voltage. According to that, you can supply or you can absorb the reactive power from the system. In this way, we can maintain the voltage profile of the system where these converters are connected. Same thing that we have already discussed, whatever for the VAR compensators. Same thing is here, control system is shown. Here, if I want to define the switching logic or firing circuit, I want certain references from the bus, that is which is EHV bus. I want certain maximum, minimum voltages, reference voltages, then that reactive power limits, voltage references. Also, I want DC voltage control also, and jointly I can give this firing to my firing circuit. That is the reactive power from the reactive power controller, AC voltage controller, and DC voltage controller. I give three inputs to the switching logic, and then accordingly firing pulses will be generated. So this is all about the control of the STATCOM. Now these are some of the stations where these STATCOM devices are used in India. So if we talk about Western region, in Western region we have Aurangabad 300 plus minus, actually plus minus means we can supply, can add also. That is the specialty of this. Then at Satna we have 300 MVR, at Solapur MVR. Along this MSR, that is mechanically switched reactor as well as mechanically switched capacitors. Means ultimately we can say that it's a hybrid combination of the particularly that fax device, where mechanically switched along with the particularly flexible we have used. And also in the northern region at Lucknow, Lucknow substation we have 300 MVR along with this MSR, MSC. So these are also 2 into 125 like that. Such combinations are given. Also at Gwalior, it is 200 MVR. At Nalagarh, it is 200 MVR. In the southern region at Hyderabad substation, 200 MVR. Udampet is a 200 MVR. Trichy 200 MVR. These are three in southern region. And in the eastern region, we have at Rourkela, Ranchi, Kishanganj, and Jaipur. So these are 200, 200, 300, and 300 MVR. Here, capacitor combination is not used at these three locations. Otherwise, MSR and MSC are used. But particularly here at these three locations, these MSCs are not used. So this is all about the most important fax controllers in our Indian grid. And because of this, we can say after 2012, our system, as we took all these system into service, so because of that, our Indian grid become very rigid. And even there are so many HVDCs are coming, and because of HVDC and combination of this fax technology, we have achieved the greater stability in Indian power system. And these are the these controllers which are connected with the existing our line with the help of this particularly line. So these are the chain link, means there is a series shunt combination of these particularly IGBT modules, so as to connect with these particularly such rated STATCOMs. So such type of these IGBT IGBT walls are used. Then this is a layout of STATCOM at Satna station. If you see the layout of this complete switch yard, so you will find out the main building where STATCOM is there. It's a STATCOM control building. These are the STATCOM containers where STATCOMs are enclosed in the cubicles in the compact form. Then we have at this side, we have this medium switchgear instrument transformer for the measurement at the this side. Again, we have, if you see here, it is a control building, means all the controllers of the STATCOM are here, where whatever control system use controllers are here. Because I cannot put controllers along with STATCOM, because STATCOM means power electronic devices that can generate huge heat during its operation. So if controllers are there, there will be the failure of these electronic components. So I have to put in cubicle where particularly specially this air conditioning should be applied as to so as to maintain these electronic components. But here I cannot provide air conditioner to these cubicles. Otherwise, there will be the bursting of these IGBT modules. So for that, what I have to do, I have to provide the cooling system for it. And generally, demineralized water cooling system is provided for the cooling of the IGBT modules. And the coolers of those IGBT modules are actually outside. If you see here, this is a water cooling container where actually water cooling is controlled. Then this water cooled cooling system is a separate cooling system actually we have to provide to the system. And again, that same water I have to use for the cooling of this particularly IGBT walls. So same water should come. For that, I have to provide these cooling towers, horizontal type cooling towers, where this water again come to the here, again it cooled, forced cooling will be applied here, and again that same water will be circulated through the IGBT walls, particularly through the heat sinks, not directly. DM water will particularly we can say it will touch to that anode or cathode, but it will connect to the heat sink. It will pass through the heat sink like this. So another that is arrangement here some capacitor banks, inductors. So all the parameters are given here. Here switch gear, isolator, circuit breakers are given. Here capacitor banks are provided, and I think this side is a inductor like this. So this is a layout of STATCOM at Satna substation. This is a SCADA system of that particular controller. Here current and voltage is shown in HMI, that is human machine interface, that is means it's a screen of SCADA, where especially it is from the Aurangabad station, where whatever voltages that are on the that is shown from the AC side, that again certain parameters, MVR, voltages, and another that is sometimes some another parameters are also maintained. And this is the STATCOM which is running condition. And these are the other fixed devices connected like this. So this is all about how voltages and currents are shown on in the SCADA system. Even cooling system, so that is also cooling system parameters, conductivity, and all those things also shown. Minimum that is whatever angles, firing angles, and all those things that also mentioned. Here system controllers are shown, and generally we provide the redundant controllers. If suppose one control fails, so another control should take over. So for that we have system monitoring is a backup. Also we have STATCOM controllers that are also backup. In this way we use such a redundancy so as to maintain this system. So these are the phase controllers, and these are the inverter controllers, phase A, phase A for different phases. So this is all about the SCADA system of the STATCOM at Satna. Then this is a Here, the particularly VI characteristic of STATCOM, we can actually STATCOM parameters can be here. We can feed the parameters from here. We can set the parameters what we want in the system, and we can maintain by adjusting this capacitive current or inductive current. We can actually maintain the voltage profile. It may be from the zero point 0.3 lowest to maximum 1.5. We can vary this much system voltage by using this STATCOM. So this is the benefit of the STATCOM. Again, there are some protections are also needed for the STATCOM. We have to protect it. So for that, we provide certain relays like overcurrent protection, some different relays 50, 51, 50 N, 51 N like this. Means some overcurrent and earth fault, overload protection, negative sequence protection, CB failure protection. So all these protection we have to give to the protection of the STATCOM. And tripping of breakers connecting with STATCOM. The breaker which is connected to the STATCOM, that should be tripped when such faults will be sensed by these relays. Again, some this negative phase sequence protection that is also given. Overload protection. If suppose there is a overload of particularly capacitor bank, then this protection will operate. Negative phase sequence means negative phase sequence components comes because of the unbalance into the system. So then this protection will take care of the STATCOM. So this is the cooling system of the STATCOM. It's a most important system for the successful operation of the STATCOM. If this system is not maintained cooling system, you cannot perform any action by the STATCOM. So this cooling system, if you see in this cooling system, we have to maintain the conductivity of the water. We have to use DM water, demineralized water, and conductivity should be monitored. It should be less than very less point sometimes 0.8 like that microsiemens per centimeter like this. So that much we have to maintain. If the conductivity increases, then there will be the short circuit of the IGBT modules. Also, you have to maintain the flow of this particularly DM water. If flow rate changes, then also there will be the tripping of the this particularly STATCOM. So there are so many protections are given for this STATCOM. And this is a transformer which is connected at Satna, and this is a circuit breaker which is connected to the FACS. So this is to the STATCOM particularly. This is a isolator which is connected, and this is a earth switch which is connected at Satna. And these are some of the proposed location of STATCOM in India. We already seen those some of the, and these are the proposed, but some of them might came into service, some of the projects. And also we have these some of the bus reactors which were proposed. Now most of already came into service. So these are the switchable control. These are the bus reactors. Especially these are not, we can say, particularly FACS devices, but these are mechanically switched. Just by on and off of breaker, you can take these reactors into service. Manual operation is there to maintain the voltage profile into the system. These are particularly bus reactors generally used at 765 kV, 220 kV and 400 kV levels. Now I want to conclude this session, and later on we have question answer session. So I want to conclude that in the we have seen this today's session on facts. In that we have I have given a general idea about what is facts, some of the basics, why it is necessary to adopt facts technology, and how we can maintain controllability and also the stability of the power system. And also we have seen how we uh, as a Indian power sector, how we enter into the fax technology. Some history also I have shown, and I have tried to show the projects which are in India. They are successfully operating. I have tried to share it, and at the last I have tried to show practical, uh, that is a case study from the Satna uh, Statcom project. So in this way, I want to conclude that this fax technology is really beneficial for this our power sector. And if we are going to add such more another fax devices in the power system at some critical locations, there are so many critical locations are there in still. So if you are go on adding, then definitely there will be the improvement in the power system. Also, these fax devices help us to maintain the microgrids, stability of the microgrids. Also, it is helping in the maintaining the smart grid, and also for the bulk power transmission. Also, this particularly fax technology is helping us for the bulk power transmission from one region to other region like this. So we can say that there are so many benefits of the this grid, particularly fax technology in grid. And in future, there will be we can say that now in India, we are saying that one grid, one frequency, one nation like this. But in coming days, there will be the slogan that one world, one grid. Now already this process has been already started. Like USA, Canada, they have already connected. Then Argentina, Brazil, they connected. We India with Bhutan, then Bangladesh, uh, and Nepal, we are already connected, and we are going to connect with now with Sri Lanka with the HVDC link. So HVDC links are helpful in here to connect whole world, but at the same time, the fax devices which make this system very much powerful. If you go on adding the fax devices in every country grids, so then every system will be stable, and ultimately the our dream of one world and one grid will come true in near future. So uh, thanks to all of you, and within 1 minute I want to share some here some facts about some other services also we are performing. So we have Technovision Academy for students. All over India, electrical engineering students are connected with us. So these are apart from activities, apart from our job, also we do it. So there are so many like-minded people here. We have formed one forum, Institute Industry Forum, where we are on, but especially on Sunday, we have different webinars on different topics, and all these services are free. So uh, we arrange the webinars, we provide data to the students, we provide guidance for dissertation, projects, and seminars. There are more than 200 students are connected with us across India. In Institute Industry Forum, there are more than 60 members are connected from industries as well as from institutions. And we have so many content in YouTube channel to for the benefit of students. And this is a link of that YouTube channel, as well as this is a email ID. And also I'm sharing my contact details to you. You can take these contact details, and you can also be part of this student group, as well as if you are a faculty member, then you will be the part of Institute Industry Forum also. So I'm thankful to all of you. Now this session we can open for the question answers.
Thank you so much, Santosh sir. Actually,
Thank you.
the themes which you told in your lecture, we never get to read in book. Those are practical application and practical data which is never available anywhere. Really
Yes,
thanks
yes.
to you. Yeah.
Thank
Prachi?
you.
Prachi?
Yes, ma'am. Hello. Yes, ma'am.
Are there any questions?
Uh, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I have sent those questions to you, ma'am. Wait, just a second.
Those questions they can answer in leisure. If you
Yes,
have
ma'am.
any
Yes,
question,
ma'am.
particularly on facts, you ask. For HVDC, they
Yes,
will
ma'am.
send in leisure.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. There are, ma'am, two questions which students have sent for facts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please.
Yes, ma'am. It is there. Just a second. Sir, the students are asking in which part of transmission line facts are installed, means at sending end or receiving end or between them.
Especially, generally, you can adopt at any location as per the profile of voltage profile or parameters of that region. So, especially if your system is weak at receiving end, or particularly there is a low voltage profile or some critical issues are there, particularly at sending end and receiving or is receiving end, then you can go on adding the, even you can add on the line also. That is not the issue. So at as per the means what you want from the system, as per the particularly nature of the that power system, according to that you can go on adding the these fact devices.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. And
Thank
one
you.
more question is asked by Shrutika. She says that a thyristor is a semi-controlled device. So how much is it efficient to use thyristor in facts?
Actually, there are we know that there are uh, that is the disadvantage of when we use the thyristors, because we will not get that much fine control over the parameters, because it operates in the range of 50 to 60 hertz only, whereas IGBTs operates in the range of 2000 to 3000 hertz. So definitely, whatever output we or whatever fine adjustment of the power system parameters we will get at particularly voltage source converter base, we will not never get at the thyristor base. But still, because of the cost and all those things, we use thyristors.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for clearing all the doubts of the students and giving us so much valuable practical knowledge which we cannot get in books also. And hello. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes, yes.
I'm extremely thankful to Mr. Santosh Kavre sir to spend his precious time and guide us. Also, I am thankful to Mr. Dhomne sir and Jape ma'am for holding such a wonderful session and thereby motivating the students to practically understand the concept. Last but not the least, I would like to thank all the students for their support and patience. Thank you so much.
Also, I want to express myself. So I am also thankful to Zape ma'am, Domne sir, and all the students uh, of my college. We can say that it's a proud to me be a part of Government College of Engineering, Amravati, and really whatever I got from this college, it's a means it's a my base actually. Whatever I am getting, so we should never forget to our roots. Actually, Government Engineering Amravati is my root, and I am always forever available for my institute. So I am really thankful to my professors, which have built up myself. I'm really thankful who has really supported me at every stage of during academic, and as well as they are still connected with me. So really, I am thankful to all of you once again. Thank you. And now you can ask your queries regarding HVDC.
I think HVDC now they are having another program. So better
Okay.
we have sent a question, and if you answer them, I will send that mail. I will forward that mail to student, because now
Yeah.
another program on today is Environment Day, no? So another
Yeah.
program is there in college.
Okay, ma'am.
So there is a
Sure.
shortfall of time. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
answer those questions later in leisure, and
Yeah.
I will forward that mail. And
Yes,
thank you
ma'am.
so much. I'm very happy to see you, whatever you're doing for student, for faculty, for society. I'm very happy, feel very proud that you are our student. Thank you very much.
Yes. I am also thanks to all of you. Thank you,
Okay,
madam.
thank you. Thank you, Prachi. So now I will close the meeting. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.